Hi CHEM245 students, today we are going to perform our fourth experiment, which is divided into two parts. The first part is the extraction of caffeine from tea leaves, and the second part is the extraction of crystal violet from water with chloroform. We will start first with the extraction of caffeine from tea leaves because it will take time to boil and then to cool down. In the time when it boils and cools down, we will do the part of extraction of crystal violet. But first, we have to weigh 5 grams of tea leaves, 2 grams of sodium carbonate. We will add 125 milliliters of water and let them boil for 15 minutes. Those are 5 grams tea leaves that we can buy from any market, 2 grams of sodium carbonate that we have in our lab, we will add 125 milliliter of distilled water, we don't have to forget to insert a magnet bar to homogenize temperature inside our solution. We let it stir, and we have to start counting the time when the solution starts to boil. So we have to boil the solution for 15 minutes, so later on. In this time, when it will be heated and it will be boiling, we will go and do the part of extraction of crystal violet from water with chloroform. To do the extraction, we have to take a pinhead of crystal violet. A pinhead means a very tiny crystal of crystal violet. I don't know if you will be able to see it on the camera. I don't know if you are able to see the amount I have to take. We put it inside a beaker. We have to always close the chemical bottle we are using. We dissolve them in 30 milliliter of distilled water. This step is very critical because if any small crystals remain undissolved, the results should be thrown later on, because when you now will divide the solution into two equal parts, those two parts should have the same starting color. Now I'm dividing the 30 milliliters I have into two 15 milliliters. Why I am doing this? Because with the first 15 milliliter, I will do what we call the simple extraction. With the second 15 milliliter, we will do later on the multiple extraction, and we will compare the results. That's why those two 15 milliliters should have the same color. Now, to start the extraction, I have to put those 15 milliliter into my separatory funnel, and I should pay attention, it should be closed. Okay, now I put it my crystal violet solution into the separatory funnel. I will now do the simple extraction, which is to add 15 milliliter to it and then extract. I will get 15 milliliter of chloroform to do the simple extraction. The simple extraction means to add the extracting solvent one shot. So those 15 milliliter will be added to my crystal violet one shot. I close it. Now, to be sure that the two phases are well mixed, we have to do this. We hold the cup well with our hand, we shake like this, and we vent away from the face of a friend or from the instructor. 2 and 3. Now I am sure that the organic and the aqueous phase are well mixed. Now I put it again on the support. I open the cap to allow separation. After a while, a separation line will appear. This is the separation between the organic and the aqueous phase. Now, where is the organic phase and where is the aqueous phase? My extracting solvent is chloroform, so it is a halogenated chemical. It means it is more dense than water. Now I am sure that I have the organic phase down and the aqueous phase up. Is it clear here, the separation line between the two phases? So leaving it more seconds to allow separation. Now I have to pay attention that the tea leaves has started to boil, so I have to start counting the 15 minutes and I have to decrease little bit the heating. Now, as you see, I have labeled the test tubes where I will put my phases. This should contain the phase of simple extraction, organic phase, simple extraction, aqueous phase. Later on, for multiple extraction, we will talk later on. Now, the phase that I will extract now is the organic phase of the simple extraction. I have to take all my organic phase till the separation line where the aqueous phase starts. Okay, now I took all the organic layer. Now I will take the aqueous layer in this tube. Okay. Now I am done with the simple extraction. I have the two phases here for color comparison later on. Done with the simple extraction, I will start the multiple extraction. So I put the remaining 15 milliliter of the original solution, taking care to close the top very well. I will add the 15 milliliter of the crystal violet solution and start to add 5 milliliters of chloroform. That's why it is called multiple extraction. This time I will not add 15 milliliter one shot. I will add 3 portions of 5 milliliters of chloroform and close well my separatory funnel, invert it, start to shake and vent it. 1, 2, 3. I am done with the mixing. I close the top very well. I re-invert it. I open the cap and put it back on the support, allowing separation between the two phases. Sure, I have the organic phase down and the aqueous phase up. So for multiple extraction, I also labeled the test tubes as multiple organic 1, multiple organic 2, multiple organic 3. So now I will put my first portion of organic layer of the multiple extraction. Okay. Again, I have to add 5 milliliters of chloroform. I should handle chloroform with care. Five milliliters of chloroform again to my crystal violet solution. I close my separatory funnel. I invert it. I shake. I vent. I shake. I vent. I shake. I vent. Allowing separation of two phases, removing the cap. Now, this is the second portion of organic layer of the multiple extraction. I'm organic too. Take care not to exceed the separation line of the two phases. The last portion of 5 milliliters of the extracting solvent. Same work. This time, the only difference that I have divided the extracting solvent into 3 parts of 5 milliliter instead of adding them one shot 15 milliliter. Allowing separation of the two phases. The separation line is very clear over here. Now this is the third portion of the organic layer of the multiple extraction. Okay. Now I am done with my extraction. I will get the aqueous layer of the multiple extraction. Okay. Now the work of the extraction of crystal violet is done. What remains now is to compare, is to get the results. What I should compare now? Of course, I should compare the colors of the aqueous layer of the simple extraction with the color of the aqueous layer of the multiple extraction. Which one should be clearer? Of course, the aqueous layer of the multiple extraction. For me, it is very clear that the color is clearer than the aqueous layer of the simple extraction. For you, this is the first conclusion. Now, the second thing I have to compare is the colors of the 3 portions of the organic phase. Which one? 1, 2, 3. Which one is darker? Basically, the first one should be darker and the color will be clearer when I do the second and the third extraction. This is the second conclusion. Now the third conclusion I have to do is to mix those three fractions together to compare the color of the organic phase of the simple extraction with the color of the organic phase of the multiple extraction. As we got correct results for the aqueous phase, so sure I have to get correct results for the color of the organic phase. Which one should be clearer, which one should be darker? This is darker and this is clearer. The organic of the multiple is darker, the organic of the simple is clearer. I am done with the 15 minutes of boiling of tea leaves. The solution is ready for filtration while it is still hot. I have prepared here some gravity filtration apparatus, and I have to filter to take only the liquid, leaving all the leaves and the magnetic bar at the bottom of the beaker. I have to press them a little bit to get the maximum amount of liquid I can. Okay. I can also here press the cotton to get all the liquid and to avoid any losses. I can remove now my funnel. And now the tea that has boiled should be extracted with chloroform when it will be cool. We waited a few minutes for the tea to cool down, and meanwhile I prepared the setup of extraction. Now I have a bigger separatory funnel because the volume now is bigger than the volume I had in the first part of the experiment. I empty my tea solution in the separatory funnel while it is well closed. And now I have to extract it with an equal volume of chloroform, but as we saw in the first part of the experiment, as the multiple extraction is better than the simple extraction, I have divided the 60 milliliter of chloroform into 3 parts. So I have to add now 20 milliliter of chloroform. I put the cap, have to remove it. I invert it, I shake gently, and I release the pressure again. I shake, I release the pressure, and third time I shake, I release the pressure, and I close the tap very, very well. I invert it, I remove the cap, and I have to wait few minutes to allow separation of the two phases. The separation line between the two phases is now very clear. I can start to collect my first chloroform portion. It is at the bottom. I have to take care not to exceed the separation line. If any emulsion falls down, it will be no matter, it will be removed with the drying agent later on, as you will see. Okay, now I have the organic phase, the first part of the organic phase. I will now add the second portion of 20 milliliter of chloroform. I put the cap, I remove it, I put my hand well on the cap, I shake, I vent, I close, I shake, I open, to vent, I close a second time and then a last time. Okay, I close it well. I remove the cap to allow separation. I can now start to collect the second portion of chloroform. I can add it to the first portion, of course. If I take this emulsion now, it will be discarded with the drying agent, or I can add some salt to the solution to get rid of it, as you know. Okay, this is the second organic portion. Now I will add the third portion of 20 milliliter, and it will be the last portion. I can sure use a funnel, and don't forget to handle chloroform with care. I close it. I put my hand well on the cap. I shake, I vent, I close, shake, I vent, I close, a third time. Okay, now I close it well, put it on the support, allow separation for few minutes while removing the cap. The separation line is now very clear. I can take the third fraction of chloroform. Okay. Now the extraction is done. I remove the tea, the remaining amount of tea. Now I have to add 2 grams of calcium chloride, which is the drying agent, to my organic phase. Now I have to shake a little bit. The drying agent must absorb all traces of aqueous layer that may be left inside the organic phase. And now the last step is to filter this solution with a gravity filtration inside a dry, clean beaker that has the weight of 48.23 grams. Now I have to do the filtration. Let me lower a little bit the level of the funnel. And now I will have inside my beaker a well clean, dry, organic phase of chloroform. All the emulsion that was introduced into the organic phase was removed on the walls of the beaker and with the drying agent that is kept at the bottom of the beaker. I can now press my cotton to avoid any losses. I remove the funnel. And now I have a very clear and clean organic phase that basically should have the caffeine dissolved inside. Now this amount of chloroform has to be left under hood minimum for 24 hours to let chloroform evaporate and to collect at the bottom the amount of caffeine. It will look like this after 24 hours. Having the weight of 48.68 grams. And now our experiment is done.